Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Peter Wiggins here, and yesterday I was at the Taunton Antiques Center, the same place where I got my 1933 shell road map of Greater Boston. And guess what I bought at the Taunton Antiques Center? 3 old road maps. One is a shell road map from Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Rhode Island from 1933. A shell road map from the state of Maine from 1932. And a Tydol, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island road map from 1936 there. And these old maps don't have interstates on them, and we're gonna take a look at all the maps there. Okay, the shell, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island. Oh my gosh, it has an old map smell. And we're gonna take a look at this old map here. Wow! This is Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Rhode Island before there were interstates here. Last time we talked about this 1933 Boston vicinity map, that Route 44 was once 101 here. And wow, look at all those! Wow! Oh my! Route 1 was the present day 95 at its time, from New York all the way up to Boston here. Wow! Route 11. Before it was 1A.
To be honest, Vicky, I don't want to slow down my feelings for you. It's just...
Wow, check with travel aid at Shell service stations for current road conditions. Oh my! That was before traffic reports on radio and television.
I'll go. Let's be ready.
Route 1C in Rhode Island.
Thank you.
So then, you know where to find me.
And it adds Albany, Danville, New York City, here in New Jersey. Alright. This is a shell road map from Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island from 1933. And it had the Greater Boston vicinity road map. There's no Mass Pike, there's no Southeast Expressway, there was no 9395 back then. And even had a Greater New York City and vicinity from what it looked like back in 1933. Empire State Building was built, Statue of Liberty was still around.
You're welcome.
Where was JFK Airport?
I'm sure I'll find a way for you to pay me back.
Aqueduct Racetrack was still around. George Washington Bridge still around before 95 came over here. Wow! New York City was different back in 1933 compared to what it looked like back in 2014 here. And let's take a look at this Maine road map from 1932. And it had a map of Maine and New Hampshire.
We're going to do this try and make it something we're actually proud of.
It had a map of Maine before the Maine Turnpike was around, and it had New Hampshire and Vermont.
And care. If you had chicken
Before there were interstates. And it had the maritime provinces of Canada and then to Quebec. Route 2, Route 3, and Route 8 in New Brunswick. And Halifax had route number from 1 to 20. And Quebec had routes from 1 to 51. Wow! Oh my! How times have changed. And here's the state of Maine from 1932. Wow! Imagine if a motorist were to travel up to Maine from Portland up to Bangor without the 95 around in 32. It would be a longer road trip because there were no interstates. They had to go 1 down to 201 and down to Route 2. And we're going to take a look at this Tydol road map from 1936.
Good price. Good value. Right window give you all.
And it is.
Energy Star certified. They carry a lifetime warranty. And they're built so well.
It is similar to the Shell 1933 road map, but now 44 replacing 101.
Quality windows professionally installed for the right price. Right window.
Tydol. An old gas company. Wow, maximum speed log. Massachusetts, reasonable and proper. Connecticut, 45 miles per hour. Rhode Island, 35 miles an hour. Oh my, those were the good old days back in the 30s. Back when there were no interstates. Motorists back then had to obey the speed limit. They have to go 45 miles per hour to conserve gas and all sorts of things. And look at Cape Cod Ram back in 36. 24 before it went over there. Ooh, reservoirs still on the Norton back in 36. Imagine if a motorist had to go from Fall River to Wareham. No, 195 was supposed to go all the way to Route 6. And if a motorist from Norton had to go to the Cape, they had to go 140 and then for 44, then for 28 down to 6, and they're in the Cape. And this is what Boston looked like back in 1936. Wow, 138 extended all the way to Boston here. C37 was the modern version of the South East Expressway back in 36.
Cattle ranching is a second career for me.
And look what Worcester looked like back in
27 years in the big leagues.
1936. And this is what New Haven looked like back in 36 before 95 and 91. And this is what Providence looked like, and this is what Hartford, Connecticut looked like back in 36. Wow! The road map system has changed directly.